Money in the Bank coming our way this Saturday afternoon. 7 matches signed. I gotta say, even though Raw's been pretty slacking as of late, in my opinion, SmackDown still good, just not as good as it's been. Even though television's been a little slacking, I'm very much looking forward to Money in the Bank. 7 matches signed. All of them look like they're going to be pretty entertaining. I'm looking forward to this show. Let's break this thing down. Let's get into our predictions. All right, we're not going to waste time. We're going to get into this card because there's a lot to talk about here. We're going to slide over as always. We're going to get into the opening matchup. Cody, or at least our opening matchup of this prediction video. I don't know what the order is going to be on Saturday, but Cody Rhodes taking on Dominic Mysterio. You know, real quick, man. I know a lot of people, this seems to be hit or miss on social media, which I really need to start realizing that social media is just such a loud minority of people and just stop referring to it. But like, that's, you know, where I get my general consensus, forget the word, of, you know, what a lot of people think about what's going on, you know, WWE television. It seems like a lot of people are 50-50. A lot of people are looking forward to this matchup, and a lot of people think it's a joke that Cody Rhodes is involved in this, especially when we all thought he was going to be undisputed champion right now. I kind of see both sides. At the end of the day, though, I love Dominic Mysterio. Rey Mysterio, my favorite of all time, so Dominic's always going to have that appreciation for me, being involved with Cody Rhodes in a big matchup on Money in the Bank, especially when this is definitely, you can just see, almost a placeholder to get Cody Rhodes on this show because of what will inevitably come at SummerSlam, which we're going to talk about. I don't mind this at all. Even though the build I think could have been better, we still got some entertaining stuff between the promos between the two. It was a simple, you know, effective enough build to get to Cody versus Dominic to set up this matchup for Money in the Bank. And I think the delivery on Saturday afternoon is going to be good. I think they're going to have a very entertaining matchup. The crowd's going to have, you know, a big part in it. The crowd's going to be on fire. Honestly, the whole show, but especially for Dominic versus Cody, I think it's just going to be a fire atmosphere. I'm looking forward to it. When it comes to the result of this matchup, man, you know, at first look, you'd be like, oh, Cody Rhodes winning that thing. But I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think Dominic Mysterio is winning. And I think he's going to win because of the return of Brock Lesnar. I think Cody challenged Brock to one more match. Obviously, Cody said it himself. Brock's on his, you know, whatever, periodic summer hiatus, whatever he called it. I think Brock's going to return at Money in the Bank, whether, you know, we get a ref bump or something. Brock hits the ring, F5, maybe multiple F5s to Cody Rhodes, and Dominic steals the pinfall. Dominic gets this win that he's going to gloat about for the rest of the summer, and we get the groundwork laid for Cody versus Brock. Part 3, hopefully the, you know, series finale, if you will, to Cody versus Lesnar at SummerSlam. A story that, even though what we have got in the matches, and honestly a lot of the segments and promos, I have really enjoyed for the most part between Cody and Brock, a story that we still don't know why they have feuded this entire time. They have yet to give us that explanation. So hey, maybe we'll get that explanation on the road to SummerSlam if we do indeed get Brock versus Cody, which I think we will. So I will go on a limb and say Dominic Mysterio is going to defeat Cody Rhodes. And I know some people are going to laugh at that and be like, I can't believe, you know, Cody was wrestling Roman Reigns at WrestleMania a few months ago and now he's losing to Dominic. I hear you. At the same time, though, right, it's really him losing to Brock in a sense. So whatever, man. I'm going Dominic Mysterio. I think Brock's going to return, and we're going to get Brock versus Cody Part 3 at SummerSlam. We got the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler defending against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. This match should be half decent. I'm not going to say I'm looking forward to it, but I think the delivery on Saturday should be good. When it comes to the result, I don't expect Ronda and Shayna to lose those belts. They just won them in the 4-way. What was that, the week or two after Night of Champions, whatever it was. And then just last week on SmackDown, they defeated Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, so the NXT Tag Team titles unified with the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. I don't see Ronda and Shayna losing those titles anytime soon, especially even though Liv and Raquel would be an ideal team, if you want to call them that. You know, there's so many just throwing together teams in this women's division. Raquel, she's teamed with Liv, then she's teamed with Shotzi, then back to Liv, whatever. Even though there's 2 top stars, let's say, in the women's division, I think Raquel will possibly move on to SummerSlam to challenge Rhea Ripley for the Women's Championship on Monday Night Raw. It might not be, and it might not be at SummerSlam, but just in the near future, I think they'll be heading towards that. They already teased it a little bit on Raw as of late. I don't know. Well, it remains to be seen, but I just don't see Raquel and Liv winning this matchup on Saturday. I think Ronda and Shayna are going to mow over the challengers. Will be leaving Women's Tag Team Champions. And then after Raquel and Liv, I don't know who's going to be next to step up for those tag team titles. We got, what the heck, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter's on Raw. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell are technically on Raw, even though they're not on the show. I don't know who's going to be next to step up for those tag team titles. Remains to be seen. But as for Saturday, Ronda and Shayna to retain the Women's Tag Team Championship. Next up, we got the latest addition to this card, the Intercontinental Championship match. Gunther defending the gold against Matt Riddle. I think we all expected this match to get added on the show. It just got confirmed this past Monday night. And I honestly believe that even though this is going to be a great match, even though I think they just wanted to maybe get a big match on the show, maybe give it, just an extra match, 7 matches on the show, whatever. I think a big part of why this match got added is because of the result, or I should say the post-match. I think Gunther is going to retain the Intercontinental Championship. However, I really think Randy Orton is on his way back, and it could be this Saturday afternoon. And all it takes is Imperium beating down Matt Riddle after the matchup, after Gunther retained the Intercontinental Championship. Randy Orton's music hits, he hits the ring, RK Bro take out Imperium, and Randy Orton makes his comeback. I honestly think that's going to happen on Saturday afternoon. If it doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised if Orton's back on the road to SummerSlam. But that's going to be my little bit of a bold prediction, if you will. Gunther is going to retain the championship regardless. Do not see Riddle winning the Intercontinental Championship, of course, even though it's going to be a great match. But after the fact, Randy Orton, I think it's time. I'm very much excited. We talked about Randy Orton, his return recently on the channel, so go check out that video where we talked about all different ideas for upcoming matches and feuds for Randy Orton. But as for Saturday, I think the Viper will be making his return, saving Matt Riddle's ass from an Imperium beatdown. And then honestly, I would love to see, I know a lot of people think after that we might just rush into a Riddle-Randy Orton feud, which I think is definitely coming. But me personally, I think that's big enough to hold it off until WrestleMania season. That's honestly what I would do. I would just kind of do whatever for the rest of the year and then do Riddle versus Orton leading into WrestleMania. Me personally, if they do it sooner, all good. But what I would love to see, honestly, is Randy Orton versus Gunther at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental Championship. I think that'd be a great matchup. Don't expect Orton to win the title, obviously, but talk about a great first-time ever matchup. Definitely a big SummerSlam-worthy match, if you will. So I'd love to see that. But as for Saturday afternoon, Gunther retaining the title, Randy Orton making his return. We're going to talk about the World Heavyweight Championship match next. I want to save the 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches to go back-to-back with those. Then, of course, the Bloodline Civil War will definitely main event this show. Finn Balor versus the reigning defending champion, Seth freaking Rollins. This matchup is going to be great. The build has been good. I don't think it's been, amazing. I did like Balor just beating the hell out of Seth Rollins a couple weeks ago on Raw. I did think that was good. I didn't like it in placement of what was supposedly supposed to be Seth Rollins versus Tommaso Ciampa on Raw. I didn't like it that much, but it was still a nice beatdown on Rollins that made Balor look legit. At the end of the day, though, when it comes to this match on Saturday, although I think it's going to be a killer matchup, and by the way, I would love to see the Demon Finn Balor turn. I don't think that's going to happen, but it could be a nice little surprise. When it comes to the result of this matchup, I think Seth Rollins is definitely retaining the championship. I know some people have thrown out the idea online on maybe Balor will win the title in a surprise here and, go on to face possibly a member of the Judgment Day and Damian Priest at SummerSlam, possibly just run it back with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Rollins definitely retaining the championship on his first big premium live event that he's defending the title on. I know he's defended the championship on Raw, NXT, but I don't expect him leaving Money in the Bank without the big gold belt. And as for how we get there, I could easily see how we talked about Balor versus Priest. I could easily see some accidental Judgment Day shenanigans in this matchup where Damian Priest accidentally cost Finn Balor the matchup somehow, some way, and then we get more, tension, if you will, that was starting to be teased and then kind of laid off a bit between Balor and Priest, and maybe we'll get Finn Balor versus Damian Priest at SummerSlam. All remains to be seen. I think that could possibly happen in the result of this matchup, but as for who's going to leave London the World Heavyweight Champion, I definitely think Seth Rollins will still be the champ on Monday Night Raw. We got the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Becky Lynch, Bayley, Zelina Vega, Io Sky, Zoe Stark, and Trish Stratus. Not the best lineup that I think we could have had. Mostly Trish being in here is kind of just like, nah, I really have not enjoyed. You guys have heard me talk about it. Anything that has involved this Trish, Becky, Zoe Stark story outside of the match at Night of Champions I thought was good. Everything else I think has just been abysmal. But it is what it is. This is what our lineup is. I like Io Sky being in there. I like Zelina Vega in there. I'm sure the matchup will be half decent in the end. As for the result, I think there's only one clear-cut winner, and that is, of course, Io Sky taking down the briefcase. If anybody else wins this matchup, I would want it to be Zelina Vega, and I would be perfectly happy if that happens. I just really don't see it happening. Io Sky, though, I think is the top woman in this match to take down the briefcase. I think it's way past due. I don't want to say way past due, because she's only technically been on the main roster for almost a year at this point, and if we're not including NXT, even though she should have been up sooner, that's really all she's, been working with. Damage control, tag team stuff. This is her first chance to really break out as a single star on Raw or SmackDown. And I think winning the Money in the Bank briefcase could definitely catapult her to that next level. I will say I don't want anyone to win this matchup who is possibly going to lose their cash-in. So please don't put it on, Zoe Stark only for her to go lose. At least Io Sky has a legit chance at beating an Asuka, a Charlotte, a Bianca for the Women's Championship on SmackDown. That's what I would love to see. I hope that's the route they go. Like I said, if anybody else wins this matchup, I would want it to be Zelina Vega. I don't want to see Becky with the briefcase. I certainly don't want to see Trish with the briefcase. I don't want to see Zoe Stark with the briefcase, which, like, Zoe's fine and all, but she's just been involved with Becky and Trish, so it just has that bad stigma on it right now for me. And Bayley's Bayley. Like, I'm just like, I'm good with a Bayley championship reign cash in. If anything, there's more story to tell with Io winning the briefcase and then that causing more tension between Bayley and Io. So I think Io Sky should definitely clear-cut winner to win the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match and hopefully have a successful cash in and into a championship reign down the line. And then we have the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Logan Paul, Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, Butch, Santos Escobar, LA Knight, and Damian Priest. Did that without even looking at my notes. That is a rare occurrence. Who is going to win this match? Well, you know what? First, but before we even get into the winner of this match, I love this lineup, man. I know a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot of people, a loud minority on social media, which we need to stop listening to, has stated it that this matchup doesn't have enough star power. Screw off, man. You got to set up some new stars, right? Everyone's always clamoring for new stars. Well, what better way to showcase them in an epic Money in the Bank ladder match? I love this lineup. Everybody's super talented in here. This is going to be a super fun Money in the Bank, and I've gone on record already in videos, and I'll say it again, and I don't want to overhype it here, but this could end up being one of the most entertaining Money in the Bank ladder matches of all time. Look at this talent field, man. You got a little bit of everything in there. I absolutely love this lineup. I think it's going to be great. Now, when we talk about the winner, we have 3 legit options, some more than others, to win this matchup. LA Knight, yeah, Damian Priest, and of course, Logan Paul. So let's go one at a time here. Logan Paul, the last edition of this matchup, I think has a shot in hell at winning it. And would I be upset if Logan Paul won? I can't say I would, because, like, even though it's not my ideal choice here, every time, whether it's a promo, whether it's a match, Logan Paul is in that ring, he kills it. He just gets professional wrestling. He's literally one of the most entertaining parts of television when he is on television. So if Logan Paul miraculously takes down the briefcase, even though it's not my ideal situation, I'm not going to complain. And then I assume he would go to cash in on Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Logan Paul would be world champion. We'd run back Logan versus Rollins eventually. Like, I wouldn't be upset. Do I think it's going to happen, though? Even though I think it's a shot in hell, no, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Logan Paul being in this matchup, outside of just getting him on television, getting him in a matchup, gonna do some probably epic viral thing in this match like he always does. I think he's like 3rd on the list of potential guys to win, honestly. I think Damian Priest has a better shot at winning than Logan Paul, but Logan still got a shot in hell, and if it happens, I wouldn't be upset. Honestly, I think the biggest, my most excitement, the best thing about Logan Paul being in this matchup, there we go, is that I think it could possibly set up a Logan Paul versus Ricochet match for SummerSlam, which I would love to see. But once we had that, collision mid-air at Royal Rumble, I've been wanting to see the matchup since. So if they're, crossing paths again in here, I would love to see another epic spot between Logan and Ricochet. And then eventually, on Monday Night Raw, they're just like, listen, let's just do this one-on-one, no Rumble, no ladder match. Let's do this in SummerSlam. I would love to see Ricochet versus Logan Paul. Obviously Ricochet versus Will Ospreay was the match years ago that broke the internet. Not comparing Logan Paul and Will Ospreay. I watched Forbidden Door. I'm not saying that. I'm just using that as the example of everyone was like, that was like the match that broke the internet. Everyone was talking about it, and for good and bad. I could easily see Ricochet and Logan Paul doing some wild shit at SummerSlam that people are just like scratching their heads at, but they're just like, let's just go crazy because we want to go viral. All remains to be seen. I'm getting off topic, but back to the winner of the Money in the Bank. Damian Priest. I could easily see Damian Priest winning this thing, and possibly, if the men's Money in the Bank match goes on before the World Championship, cashing in during Balor and Seth Rollins to win the World Heavyweight Championship, making it that triple threat, and then Priest leaves the champion. Do I think that's going to happen? Not necessarily as well, but I think it's a shot in hell. And even if this match doesn't happen before, it happens after, and Priest still wins the matchup, we could be looking at Priest versus, or cashing in the same thing during a Seth Rollins World Championship match at SummerSlam, possibly doing Balor versus Priest for the World Championship down the line. If Balor wins the World Championship, which I'm not expecting, but if he does at Money in the Bank, Priest cashing in on Balor obviously sets the stage for a huge feud there. And Damian Priest been keeping to get elevated as a singles guy over the last few months, so I would not be shocked if he takes down the briefcase this Saturday afternoon. But at the end of the day, even though Logan Paul's got a shot, even though Damian Priest has got a shot, the main man to win this matchup without a shadow of a doubt, say it with me now, LA Knight. Yeah, LA Knight's got to take down the briefcase, man. LA Knight, the clear-cut favorite, the clear-cut guy that everybody wants to see become Mr. Money in the Bank. He should take down the briefcase. He should be cashing in sometime before the end of the year, becoming the World Heavyweight Champion. Honestly, you can have him cash in at SummerSlam, have the fall be LA Knight versus Seth Rollins for the World Championship, and then you got LA Knight versus McIntyre, LA Knight versus Gunther. You got some epic lineups on Monday Night Raw for the World Championship, man. And LA Knight, a guy who's always entertaining, a guy, this is of course his one way to jump to Monday Night Raw since he's technically a SmackDown superstar as well. Yeah, it just makes the most sense, man. LA Knight, like, you gotta capitalize on this, dude. This guy's one of the hottest stars in WWE, even though he's still technically a heel, but he's really just LA Knight doing his thing. The crowd loves him. It's time to capitalize on that, man. As much as Logan Paul might get a lot of attention and still be entertaining, as much as there's a story there with Damian Priest, LA Knight's the guy. He needs to leave London, Mr. Money in the Bank. That is my final prediction. Yeah, LA Knight to win. And then, of course, we got your main event, the Bloodline Civil War, Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa taking on the Usos. This is going to be an epic tag team matchup. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of storyline, cinematic moments, if you will, that everybody likes to talk about online, as I talk about as well. This is going to be great, man. When it comes to the result, I honestly think the Usos are going to win, which is not really a shocker or a surprise, because Roman and Solo just lost to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at Night of Champions, and they could do the same thing here with Solo taking the pin. But I honestly think the Usos are going to win to set up either a Jimmy or probably more likely Jay versus Roman Reigns match at SummerSlam. I think it just makes the most sense. I originally speculated that we might get Jimmy versus Roman at Money in the Bank and then get this tag team match at SummerSlam, but obviously they've got a different way of doing things, and I'm all for that. I expect the Usos to win this match one way or another, because I just feel like if Roman and Solo win, then like what's the next step after this? Like, it doesn't really make sense for Jay or Jimmy to challenge Roman Reigns if Roman already wiped the floor with them at Money in the Bank. So I feel like the Usos need to win here, defeat, of course, Solo Sikoa, pinning him in the matchup, and then whoever steps up, whether it's Jay, I think will be Jay. Even though, like I said, for a time period, I thought Jimmy, that's where the storyline was heading, possibly Jimmy versus Roman, but just Jay being the guy just makes the most sense. Setting up Jay versus Roman for the Undisputed Universal Championship at SummerSlam, I think is just the way to go. This is going to be a great matchup. I'm looking forward to it, but I think the result, in my eyes, is pretty clear-cut. Not a lot of explanation needed. The Usos to defeat Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. And guys, that is going to do it for my Money in the Bank predictions. Leave your predictions down below in the comments. We, of course, will be here for our thoughts and review, either late Saturday night, early Sunday, all remains to be seen, but we'll be posting that video sometime this weekend, so stay tuned for that. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Go follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at NoahNation Vlogs, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.